We on? Oh, what's up, world? This is O coming back. You got to see how we celebrated last week for my birthday celebration. But now it's 100% focused on you guys and to bring value to you. So today is our first ever episode of 5-minute hot seat with O and T. We're here, baby, and we're here to deliver value. Everything about real estate. We will be answering questions. So let me kind of explain the format to you guys, all right? So first we'll have individual, and guys, by the way, make sure like Josh put like a link for my handles and shit. Y'all, for me and Terone, DM us, shoot us a message. We'll be doing this every single week. This will be coming out 2 times a week. One on Monday in the morning, I'm not sure what time yet, probably 8, 9 a.m. And one time on Friday, all right? So make sure you shoot us your questions so that we can have a Q&A, have a dialogue with you, shout you out, and be able to answer your questions. So the format will be, we'll have a question, I'll answer the question. We'll have another question, Terone will answer that question, all right? And that'll kind of be the flow of the show. It's something that we want to be very, very quick, but also deliver a lot of value to you in a short period of time. We know your time is valuable. You got a lot of shit to do, and so do we. So let's just hop straight into it. Ty Thompson asks, when do you consider that a home is not worth buying? How much stuff do you need to fix it? For example, rusted pipes, etc. How do you know when a house is good to buy? All right, Ty. Good question. Good question. How do you know when a house is good to buy? You have to know your market, number one. You have to know your market. So here in Indianapolis, we usually use a formula of 70% of ARV. ARV stands for after repair value, right? So as an investor, you don't buy the house at market value, right? So you're not buying the house to live in. So you need to have what's called equity in the house. 30% equity, you need to have the house, you need to be in the property, 30% equity. That would be considered a good deal just in case the market goes down and things like that, you're covered, right? So let's give you an example. Let's say a house is $100,000, right? I want to be in 70,000 at the most, all in. That means purchase plus my rehab costs equals $70,000. And then when an appraiser comes out, they can appraise the house at $100,000, right? So that would be considered a good deal. So for somebody new, such as you starting out, I wouldn't suggest getting things that has rusted pipes or no electrical, plumbing issues. Scratch that shit, right? Get something that's a cookie cutter. Maybe you need a new roof, right? You can fix that fairly easy. There's a lot of roofers out here. Drywall, paint, carpet, cosmetic updates only. And you can find those. I mean, we just bought one last week that only need cosmetic updates. We'll be done with the renovations in 2 weeks, right? So Ty, hopefully that answers your question. Thank you so much. And we're gonna roll over to T so he can answer his questions.
So I'm gonna get into Jose's question first.
Jose asks, how are you guys finding your deals? And how are you funding those deals? Are you keeping those or are you flipping?
Couple ways of answering this question, Jose. The way that we're finding our deals, we do have a direct to seller marketing that we have where we go and pull motivated seller type of lists. We're talking tax delinquent, code violations lists, evictions lists. You can pull those directly from the city depending on which market you're in. You would have to, go down and figure out how you would actually pull that list. In Indianapolis is public record, so we're able to pull those. And then there's also things like PropStream where we pull lists from as well. But what we end up doing with those is we have our cold callers call, and then the calls come through. We end up getting the property under contract direct to seller, and that's one way of us actually finding deals, right? And that's through the method of cold calling. Secondly, we still purchase deals from wholesalers as well, other wholesalers. So we just purchased a deal from a friend of ours, Davion, last week. A couple weeks ago, he had a really good deal. So if the deal makes sense, we'll buy it. You know, so most of our deals are from other wholesalers, or they're direct to seller from the marketing that we put out. So if we're doing a wholesale deal, we don't necessarily have to put any funds down. Normally we just putting up a deposit. Sometimes we don't even do that because the deal is closing on the back end so much faster. But normally we don't put money down on a wholesale deal. We might put down a $500 deposit, and then our investor comes in and purchases the property from us. We make the money in the middle, if that makes sense. As far as like, are we keeping and flipping the properties? So when we first started out, we was doing a lot of flipping, not necessarily putting the work into the properties. We were actually just flipping the contracts over to the end investors. They were either buying and holding, or they were doing a flip where they make even more money, you know, on it. But we were doing quick hitters where we might make, like, our average deal size was like, you know, 9,000 each deal, right? Something like that, 8,500 to 9,000 a deal. But when it comes to the properties that we keep, which is what we're primarily doing right now, is we're keeping a lot of our properties and using the BRRRR method. And what we're doing with that is we pretty much are using a strategy that's called a lease option strategy on the back end. With a tenant buyer, and we're keeping those properties. We're making sure that, you know, we got enough equity and they're good cash flowing properties as well. And also, we're going to be dropping these. We actually got these questions off of our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram handles. So what we do is we'll ask them every Monday. We'll tell you guys to drop your questions in the comments. So be looking out every Monday for us, you know, on our social media platforms, so that you can drop some questions to us and we can knock them out.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe, hit the link below. Make sure you comment, share to anybody who would think that this video is very, very helpful. And Terone and I, we actually have a question for you, something that we want you to think about. If you had a desire to get in real estate and you're not in real estate, I want you to comment below, why not? And any other questions that you have that can help us help you get over your fear so you can get into the game. All right. See you on our next episode. Peace.